There can only be one winner, and you're looking at him. Let's go.
YouTube, today I have a deck that is top tier potential. If you are a part of the Duel Links Meta Discord, you would know that the top player council have elected this deck to be high potential. Also, if you check out the pinned messages of that channel, you would see that the deck has already won a community event. Good job, Tenma, on that. If you want to be a part of the Discord to always be up to date with what's going on, also daily, weekly, monthly events, including a monthly free giveaway tournament, free entry fee. In addition to new player help and top player discussions, all you have to do is click join on YouTube, connect your Discord and Twitch. You are in the Discord with all of those benefits. What makes Amano Iwato so good? This brand new card. It's 1900 attack, it's level 4, it cannot be special summoned. The main effect is monsters cannot activate their effects except spirit monsters. That means your opponent cannot activate Sphere Kuriboh, Bacon Saver, Cosmo Brain, Snipe Hunter, Dragon Spirit of White, Gale Lizard. No monster effects. The downside is once per turn, the turn it is summoned or flipped face up, you must return it to the hand. But not in this deck because of a broken, possibly unintended interaction, and that is through the skill Duel Standby. Each player's starting hand increased by 1. You cannot activate spell/traps or monster effects on your first turn. So that restriction is turned into a benefit as we normal summon Amano Iwato on our first turn. If you summon him on our first turn, Duel Standby will make sure it does not activate in the end phase. It stays on the field. Now, I just want to say this, I feel really bad about this. The Inglorious Bastion event where this card is obtainable from is already no longer available. For some reason, the only weekend which you could farm this event for was happening during the World Champ Qualifier. That's it. By Friday, the event was over. So if you are someone that regularly farms events during the weekends, you simply missed out on this event. I honestly think this is really messed up that Konami would release a potential top tier card within the World Champ Qualifier while everyone is playing in that event. Now, because of that, I would encourage all of you to send in the survey that you are not happy about that and you think they should bring the event back because this card is really good. The problem is there's no survey for the event. So what I want you to do if you do not own this card, because I feel it's only fair, you should go to settings, you should click on contact us, and then on submit game content/issue. In a very nice way, just tell them that due to the World Champ Qualifier, you were having so much fun in that event, and that you work and or are busy during the week, you had no time to farm this event. It is not cool for Konami to release this event during the World Champ Qualifier, because now all of you, most of you, do not have this card. But anyway, for those that do have the card, and if they release the event early in the near future, let's talk about this deck further. So like I said, Amano Iwato is a broken card. Monster effects cannot be activated, and it does not go back to your hand on the first turn due to Duel Standby. Now, what happens if you draw it later? If you draw it later, you could just normal summon it, it goes back in the end phase, or you could set it, and then on your opponent's turn when they attack into it, you could use World Legacy Clash onto your Amano Iwato. It will come back in the end phase, and then it will stay on the field. If they don't attack into it, on your turn, you could flip it face up, use World Legacy Clash on it like you would if they were to attack into it, and just like that, it will stay on the field. So this deck is all about getting Amano Iwato on the field and protecting it with back row cards, as your opponent cannot use any monster effects. Now, speaking of World Legacy Clash, this card is nuts. You use it in the damage step. You could banish any of your face-up monsters to reduce permanently your opponent's attack and defense by that monster's attack and defense. It comes back in the end phase. Understand this, if you normal summon Iwato and then you use your Legacy Clash and it comes back in the end phase, it will go back to your hand. It is only on flip where you could use World Legacy Clash and it will stay on the field, or summon it on your first turn due to Duel Standby. Thank you, Tenma, for the idea of using this with counter fairies. We are using it alongside Artemis. Each time a counter trap is activated, we get to draw a card. We are playing 6 counter traps. The core counter trap is called Rebirth of Parshath. When a spell/trap or monster effect is activated, activated. That's including your own. So you might want to negate your own card. For example, if you negate World Legacy Clash, you still banish the monster, you just don't reduce the attack. So when a spell/trap or monster is activated, you negate it by revealing a counter trap in your hand. Then you could discard any card in your hand. It does not need to be the counter trap you revealed. You also pay 1,000 life. You return the negated card back to the deck, and if you did, you could special summon an Avenging Knight Parshath from your extra deck. 2,600 inflicts piercing damage through defense position, even when you have Iwato on the field. Amano Iwato will only prevent the activation of monster effects, and Parshath does not activate. The other counter trap we're using with Rebirth of Parshath to work also with Bountiful Artemis is Dark Bribe. When an opponent's spell/trap is activated, you can negate it, and then they also draw a card. There are many good card replacements for Dark Bribe because it is an ultra rare from a box. You can instead use Magic Drain. You could also use Ultimate Providence. I felt that 6 counter traps was consistent enough to work with Artemis and the Parshath trap. To finish up the deck, we are simply playing Protection for our Amano and Artemis, Wall of D, and Mirror Wall. You could use any other cards you want that are protective. You could use Econ, Canadia. I just chose these 2 cards because those are very good at protecting multiple monsters and also protecting from multiple monsters attacking into you. And that's pretty much the deck. You summon Amano, they cannot activate their monster effects. You sit on a bunch of back row, you negate, you have Artemis, you're drawing cards, you're summoning Parshath. The deck is nuts. Before I get into the gameplay, very quickly, I'm going to show you the interactions with Amano. So if you summon it outside of Duel Standby first turn, you activate World Legacy Clash, it comes back and it still goes back to your hand. If you have it set and they attack into it, you activate World Legacy Clash to banish it. It comes back in the end phase and it does not go back to your hand. This opening replay you are about to witness is absolutely nuts. So we go first, we got Amano, set all 3 of our back row. This player opens perfectly. Perfect sub-terror hand. He activates Neos Fusion, we negate. Negate the Neos Fusion. I don't think so. Now, how can you follow up with this to make this hand great? He has a Nemesis Warrior. So we now have a Parshath on the field due to negating the Neos Fusion. Summons a Nemesis Warrior. Special summons a Tiki onto the field. His back row are the best 2 possible cards that could ever be. Now, due to having Amano on the field, he cannot even use his Nemesis Warrior effect. We go in, Treacherous Trap Hole, attempting to destroy both of our monsters, negate with Dark Bribe, he gets to draw a card, go in successfully, swing in, and he has a final battle. Can you comprehend this? This is a Neos Fusion, Nemesis Warrior, final battle, Treacherous Trap Hole. You cannot open better as a sub-terror player. Now, the final battle is going to make him 3,000 attack, and I believe a lot of you would misplay this. You have to turn your toggle on. When he activates final battle, it's going to ask you to use your Clash. Don't use it. If you chain your Clash to his final battle, what's going to happen is you're going to reduce his attack, and then he's going to go up to 3k, essentially nullifying your Legacy Clash with the toggle on. You're going to allow the final battle to resolve in the damage step. After it resolves, then you're going to World Legacy Clash your Amano off the field, reduces attack, and successfully take him out. All right, he ain't done. Neos Fusion again, as if his opener could not be better. Mirror Wall the attack. We're going to pay for the wall so Amano can take out the Neos Fusion. Pierce the defense position monster. Just like that. Crazy opener for sub-terrors. Crushed. Blue Eyes beat down Crowler. Passes turn 1, probably because he has Sphere Kribos. Hit him for 19. Then he's going to follow up with a Galaxy Cyclone, successfully take out our monster, summons a Snipe Hunter. Now, in this live game, he summoned Snipe Hunter, and then he waited about 20 seconds before ending his turn. He has no idea. Don't tell him that my Amano negates his Snipe Hunter effect, and just like that, likely with multiple Sphere Kribos and his Snipe Hunter, you fool! All right, opening up with Amano. Summon it, set all that nice backer. Swing into a Gale Lizard. On flip would return our monster back to our hand. I don't think so. Sets another monster. Summon Artemis. Swing into a Discuctatron. I have no idea what the hell that's for. Lava Golem. So this is where we get hard countered by a Lava Golem. There's literally nothing else he could do besides Lava Golem us, and that's exactly what he did. Swing into a Sphere Karibo, we're taking 1,000 every turn. This Coctatron pay 1,000 to destroy our back row card, but not if it's flip face up. Goes for another card, it gets destroyed. He is now down to 100. Switcheroos for another card. This Coctatron dies in the end phase. Now I need to desperately try to go in for game. Go into another Sphere Karibo, I will only live for another turn. Neos Fusion, he is stalling up with his Neos Fusion Engrave and his Brave Neos. I'm going to World Legacy Clash the Lava Golem in the draw phase to prevent it from burning us. Normal summon an Artemis, swing into a Treacherous. I'm going to negate the Treacherous. I don't think so. Parshath off the Treacherous. Now this means that we will die with the Lava Golem, but we are not losing today. Bam! Just like that, 2,600 pierce damage. Thank you, Parshath. Yubel. Yubel's a very interesting matchup. Ideally, you just want to prevent the Yubel from coming out with your Amano. He opened up Yaksha. We got Amano. Triple set the back row. Swing over. No effect from Yaksha. That's it. He needs the field spell to trigger his Yubel. Swing in. No effect. 19 to the face. Does he have something? Nothing. Swings into a mirror wall. That is it for you. You're finished. Now, what happens if he were to actually have a Yubel on the field? Well, very easily, we could use our Parshath Trap to negate the Yubel and shuffle it back in the deck. He will not be able to summon, and then you could go for game. But how does he activate his effect if he has a Yubel and we have an Amano Iwato? Well, what you're going to want to do in the end phase versus a Terror Incarnate is you're going to want to World Legacy Clash your Amano onto the Yubel. Even though it's 0 attack, you could still activate onto it. And then the Terror Incarnate will activate. Then you could use your Parshath Trap to shuffle back in. Then your Amano comes back in the end phase. Then hopefully next turn you could crush him or repeat the process as we're playing 3 Clash and 3 Parshath. Blue Eyes White Dragon, Shizu Seal Tombs. Open up Amano, set 3. Filippo, it's up to you. I love set cards against Blue Eyes. Usually they're supposed to be an Ancient or a Dawn Knight. This time it's a Keeper. Oh well, that's okay. We have Clash to get around that if needed. Synchro Shokan for an Armades. Damn. This is a hard counter to our deck, so I included this replay because I want to show you how to play around hard counters. Mirror Wall in the battle phase before it attacks, not on the attack because you cannot activate on the attack. We're going to pay for the wall, keep it up. If he attacks, he gets reduced by half. Can't pay for it, set a wall D, summon another monster. Treacherous Trap Hole, Chain Rebirth of Parshath. We now have a monster big enough to take out the Armades. Now, we could have also, if we wanted to, flip up our mirror wall, negate our own mirror wall, and then use the Parshath Trap to summon the Parshath from the extra deck to swing over the Armades if our opponent were to refuse to activate anything worth negating. There we go. Here comes Parshath, 2,600. Artemis also draws a card due to a counter trap activating. Goodbye. Swing in. Wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. Now, how is he going to follow this up? Cosmo Brain, Silver Cry for a Blue Eyes. If he had a Dragon Spirit of White, he can't activate it. He also can't activate the effect of Cosmo Brain. Cosmo Brain sets a card and cannot tribute it. Swings into a wall of D. You're finished. 6 Samurai. We did not open up a mono, but that's okay. Double United, keys on. He does not have another special summon monster, so he will just be drawing 2 off of 2 Uniteds. Sets double back row. We have to play around dual wield here, so I'm going to set all 3 back row and my monster. He goes for a double back row. Thankfully, we got something to protect our Artemis. Power the Guardian. 3 monsters, swings into a fat wall of D. Minus 2,400, permanently off of all 3 monsters. Fool! How about I include a bad matchup for us, which is Ancient Gears. So we got Amano. Amano pretty much does nothing against Ancient Gears, so we're going to have to rely on our back row cards and outplaying our opponent. He's got double back row. He's got Castle with a Wyvern, search for Reactor. 3,000 attack. When he attacks into us, we can't activate any of our cards or effects. He swings into a wall of D, Treacherous, and I am going to negate that. I don't think so. We're going to reveal the Parshath Trap, but not discard it. We now have a Parshath in the field. He can recall his attack. He scoops it just like that. Sub-Terror time again. Set double Parshath Trap. We got our Amano, no monster effects. He doesn't summon anything. We go in with our second Amano, swing into a Canadia. I'm going to negate the first Canadia. Now, I want to be very careful around a random Drowning Mirror Force. I think the correct thing would be to just assume that he doesn't have it, but we also want to play around Treacherous. So we allow the second Canadia to go through instead of negating it, because if that face down card were a Treacherous, we would lose. We would shuffle the Canadia back into his deck, and then he would be able to use Treacherous. So we are okay with this. Double swing 1900, it's a final battle. Summons a Canadia from the grave, but just by flipping it up. So we did have lethal. If we were not playing around a Treacherous, the second Amano does go back to our hand. The first one is there due to dual standby. Tributes for a Stygo. Swings in to make him 4K. Negate the final battle. Just like that, swings into his death. You fool! Get out of here! You guys, this deck is crazy. I am very upset at the thought that many of you have missed out on this. Don't forget to go to the in-game settings, open up a content-related issue, and say that you felt that it wasn't fair that the event has already ended. You did not even have a single weekend, a chance to farm this due to the World Champ Qualifier being the only weekend to farm this event. Konami! But be a little more respectful and calm than that. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you all enjoyed. I'm excited for all the new ways to play Amano Iwato. Of course, they will all be with abusing the skill dual standby. Dkayed Brigade out.